A chair in a row. No doubt the Israelites were not in charge. They were terrified. Moses urged them to stand firm, stand as if they were in charge with God's help. They were to stand despite the pressure. They were to stand despite the danger because God is with them. They were to stand still in anticipation of a great deliverance from the Lord. The Israelites were to be still, including their tongues. It means being still is being quiet and definitely not complaining or blaming. Yes, we serve a mighty God who is able to provide and deliver us out of all our troubles. God delivered the Israelites when he opened the Red Sea. Moses knew that God is faithful when he said, "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace." We all knew the story. It was impossible for the Egyptians could be gone by the next day. The Egyptians displayed their supremacy over the Israelites by the display of their military power. But never underestimate the prayer of a righteous man. I repeat, never underestimate the prayer of a righteous man. Moses was a righteous man. He cried out to the Lord, and the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Go, strike the Red Sea and move on. Go forward." When the Israelites moved forward in faith, God divided the Red Sea. We all know that. He created a highway in the midst of the sea. The Israelites crossed over safely to the other side, but the Egyptians drowned because God fought for his people. The next day, the Israelites looked on with utter amazement. Indeed, God had delivered them from their enemy. God fought the battle for them. They just had to trust God. When we face a difficult situation, we should not despair. We should not get discouraged. Satan imposes difficulties and adversities to discourage us, but God wants us to trust him. He wants us to honor him despite the trials. He provides an extremity to create an opportunity for a miracle so that we will know that he is God. Job, the center of our study this quarter, had experienced being trapped in extreme suffering, loss and trial in the trial, but he hung on. He remained firm in his faith in God. He said in Job 42 verse 5, "My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." Job's adversity led him closer to God. Now to continue with the story about my sister. She was trapped in the bus that was ambushed by the rebels. There was no way out. She felt the warm blood oozing down her leg. She was shot on the lower leg. Muscles detached from her leg. There was no choice but to stay still and play as if she is dead, because the rebels will go to the bus and will take all the valuables from the passengers. My sister lay still, praying for deliverance and praying for survival. She knew that the only way to survive is to wait until the rebels had left, and then God had to send someone to take her to the hospital, otherwise she will bleed to death. God sent some young men who came to see if anyone had survived from the ambush. She politely asked one young man about her age, saying, "Please, can you take off your shirt and tie it on my leg? That is to stop the bleeding." The young man obliged and did as she requested. "Then my sister bleeded. Please hurry, take me to the hospital." And the young man helped her, and she was brought to the hospital. She had several blood transfusions. An urgent surgery on her leg was done. They detached veins, arteries, muscles, ligaments. Fortunately, her bone on the leg was not affected, and it was a blessing. But the surgery was so expensive. We were 10 in the family. During that time, I think there were 4 or 3 of us in the university. The doctors operated on my sister first without talking to my parents to check if they can afford the surgery. We have no Medicare in the Philippines, you know that. My parents did not have enough money to pay for the surgery. They prayed, asking God to provide. A few days later, a telegram, that's how we send urgent messages those days, was received by my parents from an older sister who was working in Saudi Arabia. And it said, "I have deposited money into your bank account." That money was sent 2 weeks before the ambush. And the money which was sent was just that money that was required to pay for the hospital bill. My sister is married and works as a successful optometrist. She is alive because God delivered her from the trap. So what it is that is troubling you right now? What is it that has struck you? Is it financial burden? And that you are about to be bankrupt? Or have you lost your job and you can't find another employment? God said, "Stand still." Is it a relationship issue? Perhaps your wife or your husband is treating you with contempt, or maybe on the verge of divorce. Perhaps it's your children who are disrespecting you and you do not know what to do. Or maybe you are being bullied at work or at school. Stand still. Or perhaps your health is failing, or someone in your family is very ill and the doctors have given up. Or maybe you are struggling with loneliness, depression, or mental issue. God said, "Stand still." Or maybe you are a student and you have failed a subject or two and you don't know how to tell your parents, or maybe you are about to be expelled from school or uni. Stand still. Or maybe you are struggling with your faith in God, or you are experiencing spiritual issues and you find it hard to believe in God. Stand still. Are you troubled by the news lately? Every day we hear tragedy after tragedy. We hear of widespread violence against women and children. Innocent people are murdered. Stand still. God will deliver us from this wicked world. Jesus is coming soon to take us to heaven, the ultimate promised land. Whatever your difficult situation is, I urge you to hang on. Be strong. Stand still. Stand your ground. Be confident. Don't run away and remain steady, because God is alive and He is in charge. He is able to deliver you and me from all our troubles. He is mighty to save us. He can do the impossible. God is faithful to His promises. We can count on Him when He says, "Stand still, I will fight for you." Do not be afraid. Be still, because God is fighting for you and for me. God said, "Be still and know that I am God." To God be the glory. He is mighty to save us.